Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. All right guys, I'm back. It's February 5th and it is 6:40 p.m. Eastern Time. We are going to, in this video, be looking at the coronavirus and an update to such. Now, let me just skip over here to where it is. Now, we've talked about this before, and where I'm getting this information is not from any mainstream media sources. I am trying to go as close to the source as possible, and we're going to be going over some things that definitely are not hitting our mainstream media. Now, I do have some people to thank, but I'm going to wait until the next video for that. But I do appreciate those of you that do donate, whether it be Patreon or Coffee or PayPal. It definitely makes this channel possible because the channel has been demonetized because of the content. So, having said that, let's jump in. Now, I'm going to leave this one for now because it's more goes along with something else we're going to be talking about here. So I'm going to jump right in here, and we're going to be looking at this from Taiwan News. All right. Tencent may have accidentally leaked real data on Wuhan virus deaths. Tencent briefly lists 154,023 infections and 24,589 deaths from Wuhan coronavirus. Now, this is exponentially higher than what we have been told. I'm not sure what they're saying the official toll is right now, but we've gone over this before, that the official toll cannot be right because they, first of all, have run out of the test kits, so they can't test everyone. Secondly, people that have died in the street or whatever, they are not tested for coronavirus. They are taken immediately to the crematorium. People that have died at home, same thing. So there's that, and the fact that people that are dying from pneumonia, which is caused by this virus, they are saying that they died from viral pneumonia, but they are not saying that they died of the coronavirus. These are the games that the Chinese government is playing to keep the numbers down. Why they want the rest of the world to think that the numbers are down and that things are not as bad as they actually are? Well, number one, you don't want to transmit that to your enemies because it makes you seem weak, and we know that the Chinese government would never want to appear weak in any way. But it is so much worse than we are being told. And I have just been informed that the little town that I live in, yes, little town, is the people that are being brought back from Wuhan, Canadian citizens that were living in Wuhan, are being shipped, or not shipped, but flown to my little town. That is because even though it's a small town, it does have the largest military base here in Canada, the largest air base anyway. And so they are being brought into the air base and are being quarantined there. Now, I'm not happy about that because this is a small area and I don't trust the government. But we'll see what happens with that. I'll keep you guys informed. I'm really not happy about it because I have a compromised immune system, and I tend to, get things easily. So this is something that I'm keeping an eye on. But anyway, let's move on now. And it says Taipei, as many experts question the veracity of China's statistics for the Wuhan coronavirus outbreak, Tencent over the weekend seems to have inadvertently released what is potentially the actual numbers of infections and deaths, which were astronomically higher than official figures. On late Saturday evening, February 1st, Tencent, on its webpage titled Epidemic Situation Tracker, showed confirmed cases of novel coronavirus 2019 nCoV in China as standing at 154,023, 10 times the official figure at the time. It listed the number of suspected cases as 79,000 1,808, 4 times the official figure. The number of cured cases was only 269, well below the official number that day of 300. Most ominously, the death toll listed was 24,589, vastly higher than the official 300 officially listed that day. Moments later, Tencent updated the numbers to reflect the government's official numbers that day. Netizens noticed that Tencent had on at least 3 occasions posted extremely high numbers, only to quickly lower them to government-approved statistics. Interesting. So, yeah. Netizens also noticed that each time the screen with the large numbers appeared, it showed a comparison with the previous day's data, which demonstrates a reasonable incremental increase, much like comparisons of official numbers. This has led some netizens to speculate that Tencent has 2 sets of data, the real data and proposed data. Some are speculating that a coding problem could be causing the real internal data to accidentally appear. Others believe that someone behind the scenes is trying to leak the real numbers. However, the internal data held by Beijing may not reflect the true extent of the epidemic. According to multiple sources in Wuhan, many coronavirus patients are unable to receive treatment and die outside the hospitals. And that's what I was mentioning early. They drop dead in the lineups to get into the hospital. They're dying at home because they've been sent home. There's no beds at the hospital for them. They're sent home. And a lot of people aren't making the actual numbers because they're being diagnosed with viral pneumonia, and that's the death, that is the reason given for the death, when actually the reason for the death is coronavirus. The viral pneumonia is just a result of the coronavirus. So, a severe shortage of test kits also leads to a lower number of diagnosed cases of infection and death, because if you don't have the test kit and you don't know what they died of, it's pretty easy to just say, well, they died of pneumonia. But that doesn't get added to the official numbers, whereas, there are many people dying of pneumonia. So, yeah, if you don't have the test kits, how can you know how many are infected? You can't. So a severe shortage of test kits also leads to a lower number of diagnosed cases of infection and death. In addition, there have been many reports of doctors being ordered to list other forms of death instead of coronavirus to keep the death toll artificially low. Now, would the Chinese government do that? Well, of course they would. These are the same people that, call prisoners for their organs. This is not, life is very cheap there. Very, very cheap. So let's go back now. And this is still processing there. That's the last video that I did. All right. And now this was in the news, but today Xi Jinping has appeared publicly. So perhaps these rumors are overblown, what have you. Rumors rife as China's Xi disappears from public view amid virus outbreak. Xi's leadership under mounting pressure as China struggles to keep coronavirus in check. So there has been speculation that he might, in fact, be infected with the virus because he had disappeared from public view. But I do see that today he has appeared on the scene once again. Now, whether or not he is infected, who knows? But Chinese leader Xi Jinping has not appeared in public for 6 days, sparking rumors about his whereabouts as China scrambles to rein in the novel coronavirus outbreak, which has shown no signs of abating. The last time Xi made a public appearance was on January 28th, when he discussed the country's response to the health crisis in a meeting with Tedros Adhanom, Director General of the World Health Organization. So I don't think we need to read further there because there's a lot to get to, and this may be, a non-starter because Xi Jinping has appeared in public today. All right, so let's go back here and see. I'm not sure why this is not processing. Maybe I've said something in that last video that has the sensors on alert. I don't know. But anyway, let's look at this. And again, this is from Taiwan News. And maybe it's not going to be able to open this for some reason. Hang on. Just one moment here. Let me try to get this up. Okay, they took that down. Interesting. Very interesting. And that was about the H1N1 has killed several in Taiwan altogether, like already. And remember, we talked about this, that China has now had an H1N1 outbreak. Well, apparently this is a new strain or what have you, and it's already killed, I think it was 35 or 36 in Taiwan. So we've got another outbreak happening concurrently. So that's interesting, and even more interesting that they took it down. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, coronavirus could be unkillable. Top Taiwanese researcher says experts say carriers may continue to spread Wuhan coronavirus even after recovering. Call for immediate development of vaccine. So let's look at this. Taipei Academia Sinica, Taiwan's top research institution, on Monday, February the 3rd, warned that Wuhan coronavirus could easily make a strong comeback next year, even if it temporarily disappears, citing the virus's unique nature. Leading academia research fellow, sorry, I can't pronounce that name, told UDN that Wuhan coronavirus has three features. It is an RNA virus that mutates easily. It is more contagious than SARS, and it can spread from an asymptomatic person. This means that even someone who has recovered from the virus can transmit it, making it more difficult to curb its spread. Now, tell me this was not we already know it was manufactured. It was created. This is a created virus. It was lab created. And notice the features that they've given this virus make it almost impossible to contain. So as a result, Hesh said it is possible that the virus could stay dormant in the body after recovery and come back to haunt the host in winter or when their immune system is weakened. He said he imagines that the nature of the virus would make it a common infectious influenza-like illness. Make it a common infectious influenza-like illness. But of course, we know this is far, far, far deadlier. The novel coronavirus 2019 nCoV is sparking a larger epidemic than SARS. Though it is less deadly, he said that's not true. Adding that the aforementioned three factors would make the virus more difficult to deal with and prevent. I urged the government to speed up research and development of anti-coronavirus drugs and vaccines as an immediate precautionary measure to minimize its potential impact on the country. Meanwhile, Taiwanese-American chemist Wang Shihui, who served as the head of the Academia Sinica, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, between 2006 and 2016, and is now the chairman of the Institute of Biotechnology and Medicine Industry, shares the same concern, advising the government as well as pharmaceutical businesses to quickly develop a vaccine to prevent another coronavirus outbreak. But here's the question: will the vaccine be worse? Sometimes the cure is worse than the disease, and we don't know. I certainly don't trust the vaccines. Anyway, let's go back, and this is uploaded now. Just let me, all right. Okay, let's come back here and go back to where we were, and let's look at this. Now, this is inside the new hospital. This looks more like a prison to me, but you tell me what you think. And by the way, I heard that they are building 11 more hospitals. 11. But what is the official Chinese, the government's death toll is around 500, I think. Really? You need that many hospitals? Interesting. All right. Interior of video shows interior of new Wuhan hospital resembles prison. Interior of communist China's Ballyhood hospital looks eerily similar to a prison. Now, here is the, let me see here. Where's the video? Here it is down here. So, Taipei, a video has surfaced allegedly shot from inside the Instant Hospital, hastily constructed in Wuhan, appearing much more like a prison than a center to care for sick patients. On Monday, February the 3rd, Communist China claimed to have completed the hospital in Wuhan to house the new hospital that I can't pronounce, to house 1,000 of the city's residents infected with the novel coronavirus. The rapid construction of the hospital was widely trumpeted by Chinese state-run mouthpieces and parroted by Western media outlets as an example of the Chinese Communist Party's superior ability to quickly respond to crisis, while a de-emphasis was placed on the initial slow response that arguably allowed the virus to mushroom out of control. However, the dissident organization Himalaya Global released a video on its Twitter page Monday, which was apparently secretly filmed by a Chinese contractor inside the new facility. The video starts with the contractor introducing the Spartan interior of Ward 1. The man starts out by ominously saying, "Once you are in, you can't get out." And that's correct, because there's bars on the windows, and also there's just one little slot in the door by which they pass you your food. The man, okay, so once you are in, you can't get out. He then asserts that patients would be better off staying at home than checking into the new compound. And that's probably true, because there's a lot of videos surfacing of people not wanting to go to the hospital and resisting, all out resisting. But we will get to all that. The camera then focuses on the tiny windows that he said would be used to serve food to patients. In the background, another man can be heard saying that the dead will be removed from that door. Incredibly, it is clear that each room has a small window with distinct vertical prism bars. The contractor said that those who do not recover will be sent to the crematorium. Next, the man shows the interior of one of the rooms and points out that the food window can be opened from inside. However, he says that there is no way for the patients to escape because the only door to the room has a lock on the exterior and can only be opened from the outside. Netizens were shocked at the facility's strong resemblance to a prison, with many speculating that it was made from prefabricated components for the internment camps in Xinjiang. I knew it. It's not so much a hospital as a medical internment camp. Yeah, all those rooms are prefab jail cells, and nobody is asking why China has thousands of prefab jail cells ready to go at all times, which isn't creepy at all and is very normal to have. Right. I don't know of any hospitals where doors open one way. I don't know of any, it looks eerily like they used a prefab meant to build a Xinjiang internment death camp. Considering how quickly they could scramble this together, it's not likely they took what they already, it's not unlikely that they took what they already had. Locks on the outside. This is a jail cell. What possible justification is there for locks on the outside? Hospitals are usually built to allow free egress for safety. Prisons, on the other hand, are not. A hospital would have oxygen lines or even power line outlets in the rooms. How are they planning to provide intubation to the hundreds of people with severe respiratory distress that should be there? This is a jail for sick people. I would agree with that. Lost in the fanfare over the new hospital are reports that testing kits are in short supply and patients are being turned away from other hospitals in Wuhan. According to the New York Times, the ban on transportation forces patients to trek long distances to reach hospitals, and when people in urgent need of care call for ambulances, they are told there are hundreds of people in the queue. And I'm hearing this a lot, that there's a ban on transportation. So you can't just get in your car and drive there. And if you call for a hospital, there's no public transportation available at all. And if you call for an ambulance, there's hundreds. You know, people can't get an ambulance. And even if they do get an ambulance and get taken to the hospital, there's no guarantee that they'll have a hospital bed for them and won't be just sent back home. So let's look at this. Himalaya Global contractor reveals the inside of one of 2 Wuhan coronavirus hospitals that were constructed in 10 days. Windows welded shut. Doors could not be opened from the inside. Items delivered from the small window well. It is more like a prison than a ward. And we are going to look at this now. So let's... So this obviously is in Chinese, so you have to read the subtitles, and maybe I should do that because I know some of you are on your tiny phones. So I will, that's what I'll do here. And it says, this is Ward 1, man. Look at it. And it's very blurry, but hopefully you can get the idea. I know, this is the aisle. I'm going to turn this down so that I can, because we don't really need to hear the Chinese voices because we don't know Chinese. Maybe some of you do. I shouldn't. All right. There we go. Now we're all set to go. I know this is the aisle. Once you are in, you can't get out. This is Ward 1. You'd better quarantine at home than here. Look, the opening is so small. Open it from outside. Food is delivered through here. This is the aisle. The dead will be removed from that door. Look here, same thing. Those ones can't recover will be sent to the crematorium. Inside the ward. This window can be opened from the outside to receive meals and such. There's no way one can get out. Here is the patient's bathroom. You can lock from outside, but inside there's no key, so you can't open from the inside. All keys are on the outside. This door can't be opened from the inside. So that gives you an idea, and it doesn't look like a hospital to me, not any hospital that I have ever seen, because in those small rooms, there's no bathroom, there's no power outlets, there's no running water at all. How do they get to the bathroom? Do they open the door and take them out to, I don't know. But you would think that they would need power outlets in the rooms because there would be equipment that's needed. So I think it's a little odd, if you ask me, the whole thing. But anyway, that is that. And we've got plenty more. So let's go back. All right. All right. And this, Debbie Adams, It says Wuhan and Hubei are in utter chaos. Hospitals sent them home. Now they round them up. Dead bodies in the streets, riots, fires, turning off water, forcing people to register, drones taking temperatures through apartment windows while carrion crows migrate in. Media needs to get on this better. Yes, I would agree. And that is true. There was fires breaking out in Wuhan. I saw that last evening. There was lots of fires breaking out. There are riots because people don't want to be taken into these new hospitals at all. And they've turned off water. I don't know if they've turned off all water or just some. They're trying to force people to register. They are sending drones to check to make sure people are wearing their masks, and also to take people's temperatures. And there's like an abundance of crows moving into Wuhan. And I find that interesting because, carrion crows, they eat meat. So why are they being attracted in such humongous numbers to Wuhan? Well, you tell me. Is it just for 500 people dead? I don't think so. Yeah, there's a lot more to this story than we are being told. Now, let's look at this, because now we have another cruise ship, Yokohama cruise ship carrying 3,700 quarantined for coronavirus. Princess Cruises ship will be under quarantine for 14 days after Japanese health officials found 10 people aboard who tested positive for coronavirus. Now, I'm not going to read all this because we've got too much to go over, but I did want you to be aware of that. And let's come back here. And here it says the World Dream is the third cruise ship to be placed under quarantine in the past week. So that's a little disconcerting. 1,800 Dream Cruises passengers crew undergoing testing after 3 confirmed coronavirus cases. So that one is being quarantined as well. 3 cruise ships, that's a lot of people that are being quarantined. That's the last place that I would want to be. That's the last place I would want to be right now, is on a cruise ship. Yes, I would love to be on a cruise, but not if there is any possibility of anyone on board carrying coronavirus. That would be a nightmare. All right, now let's, this is a video taken from inside the crematorium. Now, before we show you that, I'm going to show you this. A staff who has worked 28 years for Wuhan Crematorium confirmed 10 to 15 trucks a day carrying 7 to 8 bodies each all died from coronavirus. The estimated death number, 70 to 120 a day. This is just one crematorium. There are 6 crematoriums in Wuhan. Do the math yourself. Well, I've done the math for us. 10 trucks per day. Now, this is, I'm taking it from the least amount to the most amount. So 10 trucks a day with only 7 bodies on each truck would be 70 per crematorium. But so 15 days, 15 trucks per day with 8 bodies on each truck would be 120 bodies per crematorium. So there are 70 to 120 bodies per day per crematorium, and there are 7 within the city of Wuhan. This would mean that 490 to 840 deaths per day just in Wuhan. And I think that would probably be more like it. 490 to 840 deaths per day. So we're going to look at this video from inside one of these crematoriums, and I'll show you. Now, hang on. It says Oh my God, many bodies infected virus will be fired in Wuhan crematorium. Now, obviously, English is not their first language, and what they're saying is that these dead bodies that have been infected with coronavirus are about to be cremated, and you see them all lined up. It says all corpses were packed in body bags and lined up, waiting for incineration. And here's the interesting thing is that China has been calling out because there's a shortage of body bags. Now, if there's only 500 total that have died, why would they be so short of body bags? I'm just asking. So let's take a look at this video. It's not very long at all. Of course, it's in Chinese, but it says all corpses were packed in body bags and lined up waiting for incineration. And I'm trying to read this. Yet the workers were singing Jackie Chan's song at the Spring Festival Gala. My country doesn't seem sick at all. So, yeah, they're singing My Country Isn't Sick at All, and here are all these bodies waiting and lined up to be taken to be cremated. All right, now let's go back because there's more. There's always more. All right, and happening now, coronavirus, a staff. Okay, we already read that, sorry. And this from the Global Times. The coronavirus can survive for 5 days maximum on smooth surfaces under suitable circumstances. That's experts from China's Health Commission. 5 days. So if you are infected with the coronavirus and you touch something, it remains there for 5 days, that virus. That's a lot. That means that if you're handling money, passing money, and you're infected, well, whoever handles that money is going to be infected too. So just think about that. All right. All righty. Let's look at this. This by Zero Hedge. Corpses taken directly to crematorium. New accounts detail grisly operation at Wuhan's 5th hospital. Now let's take a look at this. Radio Free Asia has tweeted a disturbing video on its Twitter account on Saturday morning detailing how those who died of coronavirus in Wuhan, the outbreak area in China, were loaded up on a bus and taken directly to the crematorium. RFA said in translated tweet, latest situation of Wuhan 5th Hospital. Some Wuhan citizens entered Wuhan 5th Hospital on February 1st and found many patients who died of pneumonia. The corpses were packed directly to the crematorium. Paramedics are busy rescuing the dying patients. So I guess this is, and we've seen this video before of the, it was taken by a doctor who's now been arrested. Well, I'm not sure if he was a doctor. He was definitely a journalist, but the body, it shows all the bodies loaded up in this truck being taken to the crematorium. And down below it says RFA's video is in line with our report from Friday that said that those who died of the deadly virus were hauled off to the crematorium in Wuhan by Chinese authorities. DW News East Asia correspondent William Yang cited a report from the Chinese language news outlet Initian, which said cremation facilities in Wuhan were receiving bodies directly from hospitals without proper identification and were excluded from the official record. Right straight from the hospital to the crematorium, not worrying about proper records, who this person was, whatever. Just to add a bit more to what was mentioned in the show, but I wasn't able to elaborate on, China's state media has been reporting about building new hospitals dedicated to treating Wuhan virus patients in multiple provinces and cities, which I think reflect well, let's go take a look so we can read the rest of this, or not. All right, let's go back here. All right, and we're going to come down here. This by William Yang. Also, one thing that China is hiding is the number of deaths caused by the virus. Credible Chinese media outlet Initium News interviewed people working at local cremation centers, confirming that many dead bodies were sent directly from the hospitals to the cremation centers. So there are reasons to remain skeptical about what China has been sharing with the world, because while they've been more transparent about certain things related to the virus, they continue to be sketchy and unreliable in other aspects, said Yang. And here is another tweet by him. Without properly identifying these patients, which means there are patients who died from the virus, but not adding to the official record. That shows the current death toll of 133 that we are seeing is way too low. So I'm not sure. I think it's up to 500 now that they're saying have died. But of course, that's ridiculous. Nobody takes these kind of measures for 500 people. Really, there's more people, honestly, in the States that die from flu, and you don't see them building all these new hospitals and taking people that died from the flu directly to be cremated. I mean, this is ridiculous. You only need a slight amount of common sense to realize we're being lied to. All right, now this got to me more than anything else. It really did. I want to show this to you. These are the cell phones, because these people, of course, everybody carries a cell phone, and just about everybody. And they take these people to the crematorium. So what do they do with their cell phones? Well, they just toss them out. Let's look at this. These are the cell phones of the deceased. So, I mean, maybe counting the cell phones would be a better indication of how many have died, and they're shoveling up the cell phones. They are literally shoveling them up, and here's a guy doing some sorting. Maybe they're sorting the ones that they could get money for. I don't know, but look at this. All that information on all those people, on all those cell phones. What are they going to do about it? I mean, what are they going to do with them? That would be, if somebody could get all those cell phones, they could make a record of everyone that has died. But this, to me, is incredibly sad. Nobody gives up their cell phone. Really, that's the first thing that you leave. You leave the house with your cell phone, you take it and you put it on your nightstand or whatever. I mean, most people keep it with them. I don't have a house phone. I just have my cell phone. So I always have it with me, pretty much. And so do most people. So look at all these cell phones. The only way people would give them up is if they were forced to, or if they were dead. And in this case, they are deceased, unfortunately. Now let's come back here, because there's more. Now this, I said, what is going on here? I really want to know what's going on here, because what it looks like's going on here, I pray to God that it's not. Let's look. I think this is the video. So this may not be the one that I'm talking about, but here we've got, they're all suited up, but why are they loading their guns? And I don't understand. And here they are walking down with their guns. Now, this is the part. Now, there's blood in these streets. Where's that blood coming from? Because I want to know. Now, I'm going to make this bigger, okay? Because I know that some of you guys have a hard time seeing it on your phones. So I'm going to make this bigger and really pay attention to what's going on here. First, there's these guys with guns, all in their hazmat suit and with guns. Now, what do you need? These people are sick. What do you need guns for? Let's look. So here they are, coming obviously in a residential area. And people are, now you hear the shots. You're hearing shots. And here's somebody just laying outside. These people are just out in the street. They're laying in the street, they're being tended to in the street, but you're hearing these gunshots. Who is being shot? Now, there's blood in the streets, and I know what's happening in terms of that van. They're coming to get people to take them and quarantine them, probably in one of the newer hospitals, or maybe not. But are the people that are resisting, are they being shot? Because it would appear, and I don't want to spread rumors unnecessarily, but there's something happening in this video, and this is obviously a video from Wuhan. So what is happening? They're sick. There's some in the street being attended to, but you've got people crying out that because they don't want to go. And I'm going to come back a little ways in this so you can see it, because this is the most disturbing thing I've seen in a very, very long time. I do understand these people have to be, if they are sick, they do have to be quarantined, but these people have guns. So they're obviously enforcing this. Because I had heard a story about one man who escaped from Wuhan, and they caught him and he didn't want to go back, and they just shot him in cold blood. Well, is that what they've resorted to now? I don't know. Let's take a look. So, I don't know, but to me, very, very odd video. Maybe they're not shooting people. What else are they doing though? I mean, they've obviously got guns and you can hear gunshots. Are they shooting people? Are they firing it off to warn people to, I don't know. I don't know. But it's extremely disturbing. Extremely disturbing. All right, so let's come back because there's more. Let's see here. Now, what I was saying earlier about them coming to my town, right here. And I'm just going to touch on this. I'm not going to read the whole thing. There's just too much information to be able to cover it all. But Trenton, Ontario prepares to receive Canadians fleeing coronavirus outbreak. And it says a small town in Ontario that is host to Canada's largest Air Force base is preparing with some apprehension for the arrival of 200 evacuees from Wuhan, China, the epicenter of a coronavirus outbreak. Canada plans to fly the evacuations to the base in Trenton, Ontario, the country's main military hub for air transport, and hold them in quarantine for 2 weeks. The outbreak has killed 492 people. Right. Yeah. Probably 492 people yesterday. Who knows how many really have been killed? Certainly not, the official number is like a little tiny needle in a huge haystack. It doesn't even begin to cover the people that have died. So I'm not going to read any more of that, especially I don't want to hear about anything that Justin Trudeau has to say. All right. I've yet to hear anything intelligent come out of his mouth, so, I don't want to waste anybody's time. All right, and let's look at this. I was saying this earlier. They were building 11 new hospitals, 11, and this from the Daily Mail. I apologize for all the ads. This is one of those sites that if you don't turn off your ad blocker, then they won't let you see the site. All right. Now, coronavirus epicenter Wuhan will open 11 new makeshift coronavirus hospitals. Wow, there's only been, according to them, 492 deaths, but they're building 11 new hospitals. Wow. Huh, how can that be? And you got to realize that a lot of the citizens aren't even at Wuhan. A lot of them left the city because it was the Chinese New Year and they were traveling to other areas in China to spend time with families or traveling abroad, what have you. So, yeah, that's pretty wild. 11 new hospitals. Okay. After builders and volunteers worked overnight turning sports halls and exhibition centers into temporary medical centers. The facilities, with more than 10,700 beds in total, will receive suspected coronavirus patients as well as confirmed cases with minor conditions, according to the state media. The virus ravaged city has opened its first dedicated coronavirus hospital, which was built from scratch in the space of 10 days and has 1,000 beds. Another similar institute with 1,600 beds was constructed from the ground up. It's set to receive its first patients tomorrow. And yet that wasn't enough. They need 11 more. So anyway, and look at these. Boy, that looks great. I guess if you don't have the coronavirus, you will have after hanging out in one of these. All right, let's come down here. Oh, thank you, Lord. I'm not in one of those. It looks absolutely horrendous. I know they're doing what they have to do, but the facilities will treat suspected coronavirus patients as well as confirmed cases with minor conditions, according to the media. Well, I certainly wouldn't go there if I had a minor condition because I'd leave with the coronavirus if I left at all. Probably leave when I get cremated, I guess. The death toll from the epidemic continues to rise in China as the country's authorities reported 66 new deaths overnight. Right, that's why they need 11 new hospitals for 66 people. Right, okay. Now, 3 places, Hongshan Gymnasium, Wuhan Living Room Exhibition Center, and Wuhan International Convention and Exhibition Center were revamped overnight on Monday and are ready to receive coronavirus patients. The death toll from the epidemic continues to rise in China as the country's authority reports 66 new deaths. Yeah, we can all do a collective eye roll here. Right, 66, right. The life-threatening disease, which emerged in Wuhan in December, has killed at least 493 people and infected more than 24,600 globally. Wow, 493 people have died. And they have the crematoriums working 24/7, which they never work 24/7 there. Apparently they're only opened like a small window in the day, but now they're 24/7, all crematoriums going 24/7 a day for only 493 bodies. Wow, isn't that something? So they have more than 4,000 beds in total and will treat confirmed coronavirus cases who have minor conditions that are under the age of 65. So what are they doing with the people that are over 65? Do they just shoot them? I'm just wondering. Because, and minor conditions, would you go to one of these if you just had a minor condition? What do they call a minor condition, I wonder? Anyway, oh my gosh, look at all these hospital beds. Oh, could you imagine trying to get any sleep in there? Really, just think about it. Everybody coughing and hacking and wheezing. You'd never get sleep. And do you really think you're going to get any attention that you need? There aren't enough doctors and nurses at all. So, yeah. Wow. Eight more establishments, including Guangzhou Science and Technology Center, Wuhan International Expo Center, and Wuhan Sports Center were finished or being finished today. The former two will have 1,000 beds each, and the latter 1,100 beds. Among them, Guangzhou Science and Technology Center, which occupies 2.5 acres, has been divided into 3 sections and is equipped with special channels for medical workers to enter and exit. It also has dedicated areas for medics to disinfect themselves, reported Beijing News. The other centers under refurbishment are Tanzhou Sports Center, 1,000 beds, Wuhan Sports Hall, 300 beds, Shipeling Vocational High School, 800 beds, Dahashuan Outdoor Sports Center, 1,000 beds, and the gymnasium of Hangpi No. 1 Middle School, 500 beds. And all that for just what are they saying? Like under 500 dead? I don't think so. That's ridiculous. Really, it's an insult to our intelligence. I mean, look, there's no way that there's only that many dead. Around 2,000 medical workers are expected to treat patients in Lishanshan or Thunder God Hospital, what a name, which occupies 14 acres and has 1,600 beds. The picture released shows construction workers at the hospital on February 4th. All right. Lots and lots of new hospitals and so forth being built, and space being reappropriated for the sick. All right. Wuhan residents have been complaining about not being able to see doctors as the city's medical resources were drained by the outbreak. The controversy has sparked claims that the real death toll could far exceed the official figure because people who died before they could be hospitalized were not counted in the formal statistics. So we know all this, and I think that these are just pictures confirming all these new hospitals. Lots and lots of them. All right. So we're going to leave that and come back here. And Wisconsin Department of Health confirms first case of coronavirus in the state. So, and Global Times, 30 hours after birth, a newborn in Wuhan, the nCoV epicenter, was diagnosed with the virus, leading medical experts to conjecture the coronavirus may vertically be transmitted between mother and baby. And this is absolutely tragic. This poor baby now has the virus. And this from BNO Newsroom, a woman suspected of having coronavirus escaped from quarantine at Salzburg, Austria hospital overnight. Officers found her at her home and took her back to the hospital. Her test results are due later today. Well, let's hope she tests negative, because if she tests positive, she will have interacted with a whole bunch of people. Kyoto man tests positive for coronavirus, bringing number of Japan cases to 35. So 35 cases in Japan. And let's look at this. I can't remember what this is, but yes. Says a Wuhan doctor's conversation leaked. Emergency ward becomes mortuary. Nobody handles the bodies. Crematorium too busy. Only admitted patients can be tested. Government only gives 2,000 testing kits to entire Wuhan per day. Many patients pushed away without being tested or diagnosed. Now, we're not going to listen to this because, of course, it's in Chinese. So I don't speak Chinese, and I doubt many of you do. But possibly some of you do. All right, now, the 2 Italian infected tourists had common flu symptoms for a week. Doctors were optimistic. Today, their conditions are critical. So it's 10 days when you're asymptomatic, 1 week of common flu, and then suddenly severe respiratory distress. So for 2 weeks, you're infected. Part of that, you're not showing anything at all. And part of that, you are experiencing like flu-like symptoms. Then all of a sudden, bang, you've got severe respiratory distress, the pneumonia sets in, and often death. All right. Reports from doctors in ICU. I have a friend in the USA who has friends who are doctors working in the coronavirus ICU in Wuhan. Here are the facts. The number of reported cases, 20,000 to 25,000, is the number of people admitted to hospitals. It is not the number of people infected. The number of people infected is at least 10 times higher. It costs $100,000 to save a patient. Treatment involves breathing assistant equipment and antibiotics against respiratory infection. A 12-day stay in hospital is not unusual. Hospitals are currently overwhelmed and are turning people away. It is completely unknown how many people are infected because of people who are not admitted to hospital. Few are ever tested. And they said, I will submit updates as I learn more. All right. And Japan has reportedly confirmed 10 cases of coronavirus from the cruise ship. Wuhan's 28-year-old doctor died of exhaustion. I don't doubt it, the way they're being worked. All right, and let's look at this. I can't remember what this is, but leaked recording calls into question China's official number. Our ER has been turned into a morgue, crematory, too busy to handle bodies. I know what the government says are lies. Entire Wuhan only given 2,000 test kits per day. Many patients turned away without being tested. So this is similar to what we were seeing elsewhere. And let's come back here and see, let me see. Yeah, this, let me see how, I'm not sure how long this is.
Since the outbreak of the coronavirus.
Okay, this is, obviously this person's speaking Chinese, but it's being translated, and it's from the BBC. It says, Wuhan coronavirus, my uncle died, my father is critically ill. This is 4 minutes and 54 seconds, and I am going to play it. I think it's important, and that will be it for this video. So let's go ahead and play this.
Facing difficulties. We bought him an oxygen machine at home, and he relies on that machine 24/7. There's no hospital for him to go to because his case hasn't been confirmed due to the lack of testing kits in the hospitals. My mom and aunt walk to the hospital every day in the hope of getting a bed for my dad, despite their own health situation. But no hospital would take them.
Would you say that you are being supported by the authorities because there is no hospital bed for your family members who are clearly struggling? Are you getting the help that you need from the authorities?
Well, the situation here now in Wuhan is there's many quarantine points to accommodate patients who have slight symptoms or who are still in the incubation period. There are some simple and really basic facilities there, but for people who are critically ill, like my father, there are no beds for them. My uncle actually died in one of the quarantine points because there are no medical facilities for people with severe symptoms. I really hope my father could get some proper treatment, but no one is in contact with us or helping us at the moment. I got in touch with the community workers several times, but the response I got was, there's no chance of us getting a bed in the hospital. The quarantine point that they asked my uncle and my dad to go, we thought it was a hospital at the beginning, but it turned out to be a hotel. There was no nurse or doctor, and there was no heater. They went in the afternoon, and the staff there served them a cold dinner that evening. My uncle was very ill then, with severe respiratory symptoms, and started losing consciousness. But no doctor came to treat him. He and my dad stayed in separate rooms, and when Dad went to see him in the morning at 6:30, he had already passed away.
I'm so sorry to hear how distressed you are. The authorities are saying that there is a 1,000-bed hospital which has already been built and a second hospital with 1,600 beds will be operational later this week. Do you believe them?
我不知道别人有没有，我是没有的。因为现在您所说的那些医院
I don't know if other people believe that or are hopeful for that, but I don't. Because those new built hospitals are for people who are already in other hospitals at the moment, and who are going to be transferred to the new ones. But for people like us, we can't even get a bed now, let alone get one in the new hospitals. If we follow the government's guidelines, the only place we can go now is to those quarantine points. But if we went, what happened to my uncle would then happen to Dad. So we'd rather die at home.
That all sounds pretty bleak for you. I wonder if you would just describe for us the atmosphere in Wuhan.
我身边的也有这个跟我爸爸妈妈一样的家庭。
There are many families like us around, all facing the same difficulties. One of my friend's father was even refused by staff at the quarantine points because he had a high fever. Resources are limited, yet the infected population is huge. We are afraid. We don't know what will happen next.
Is there a single message that you have for your own government and the rest of the world? What would you like to tell people?
我想讲的是，如果我早点知道24号会封城的话，
What I want to say is, if I knew that they were going to lock down the city on the 24th of January, I would definitely have taken my whole family out of the city, because there's no help here. If we were somewhere else, there might be hope. I don't know whether people like us, who listened to the government and stayed in Wuhan, made the right decision or not. But I think my uncle's death has answered that question.
Wow. My heart is really moved for these people that are suffering this. And I'm not showing this stuff for fear porn or anything like that. I think it is important for us to understand what's going on. Now, am I saying that this is going to happen in the States? I hope not. I wouldn't think so. I think that anything is possible, but I think it's very, very important for us to realize what is happening and how other people are suffering. Absolutely. This is hard to believe in a modern age that something like this could happen and befall a people. And those who are saying, oh, they deserve it, or this or that, or they ate, they eat bats, so they deserve to die. I mean, come on, really. A lot of these things developed in China because of severe famine or whatever, and people ate whatever they could. And you know what? You and I would do the same. If we were starving to death, we would probably find whatever we could to eat, including squirrels, what have you, groundhogs, birds. We would. That's just a fact. And so a lot of this has, people got used to eating these things, and even when things improved economically, they are still part of the Chinese diet. So they don't deserve death any more than anyone else does. So I really feel sorry for these people. And if you are a believer, please pray for the city of Wuhan and the people that are entrapped in this situation. And they truly are entrapped. And who knows what hell on earth is really happening there, because the people that have gotten these videos out do so at the very risk of losing their lives, because the Chinese do not want this information getting out at all. So really, there's probably a lot going on that we don't get to see videos, or we don't get to hear about it because it is hushed up. So the one that concerns me the most is the one with the shooting. I pray to God they are not shooting resistors, those that are, you know, not wanting to go to quarantine. I know that this is serious and they do have to keep the situation under control, but it's just it's incomprehensible to us. So that is it for tonight's video on that. Anyway, now I should be back. Now I can't promise 100%, but I do have another video for tonight, but I do have to run and do a couple errands. So hopefully I will be able to get to that video tonight. It's just update on news items, so forth, mainly political. So I will end it here for this, and I will keep us up to date on what is happening with this virus. I know some of you are probably not interested, but there's others that are, and I figure those that are interested will watch, and those who aren't won't, and that is okay. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate everything, and I appreciate you listening, absolutely. So that is it, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.